Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we will swear in the two members that were newly elected this past election. Yes, you guys come out front. First. Are you good, Kev? Oh, everyone else, you guys can be seated. Please raise your right hand. I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York.
I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of village trustee
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
for the term to expire March 2015.
for the term to expire March 2015.
I, Anthony Farina,
I, Anthony Farina,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of village trustee
of village trustee
for the term to expire March 2017.
for the term to expire March 2017.
Check your volumes on the mics.
It's on.
Then you can actually, I don't have to put it on, so you can hear us?
No, you do have to put it on.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
I mean you, I meant
Actually, you got
us.
wires underneath there.
Good?
Here, guys.
At this time, we're going to do the reorganization, then we will go into the budget, and then we'll go into the regular meeting. Okay. I, Mayor Patrick Flynn, make the following appointments. Deputy Mayor Robert Mellon, Police Commissioner Patrick Flynn, Fire Commissioner Barbara Murphy, Sanitation and Wastewater Commissioner Anthony Farina, Street Commissioner Patrick Flynn, Recreation Commissioner Anthony Farina, Water Commissioner Harold Brown, Building Commissioner Robert Mellon, Building Department Code Enforcement Liaison Robert Mellon, Disaster Preparedness Liaison Barbara Murphy, Senior Citizen Liaisons Dolly Vanzetta and Ann Lewis, DPWEA Union Negotiators Patrick Flynn and Robert Mellon, Police Union Negotiators Barbara Murphy and Anthony Farina. We'll move on those? Okay, yeah.
Now you need,
I need a motion for the following appointments. I'll read the appointments and then go for the motion. Deputy Village Clerk Treasurer Anna Sierra, Budget Officer Edward Magrita, Bingo Inspector Matthew Lanier, Fair Housing Officer Anna Sierra, 911 Addressing Coordinator Barbara Murphy, Historian Stella Bailey. Do I have a motion to accept these appointments? Motion by Trustee Farina.
Can I second myself?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I will second.
Second by Barbara Murphy. All those in favor, we need a roll call on that? Roll call.
roll call,
You
trustee
wait on
Murphy.
yourself, my friend. I'm sorry.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Farina,
Aye.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye. I need a motion for the purchasing clerk Susan Bunty. Do I have a motion?
You do. So,
Motion by Charlie Murphy, second by Anthony Farina. Roll call.
Roll call, trustee Murphy,
yes.
trustee Farina,
Yes.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye. I need a motion to accept the official depositories for the village funds, which shall be as following: J.P. Morgan Chase, N.A., HSBC Bank USA, Orange County Trust, Key Bank, First Niagara Bank. The official newspaper of the village shall be the News of the Highlands, Times Herald Record as needed. All regular village board meetings shall be held on the first and third Monday each month at 7 p.m. in the Village Hall, 303 Main Street, Highland Falls, New York. Bills and claims will be approved at each meeting. The official business hours of the village offices are 9 a.m. through 4 p.m. daily, except Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. The annual inspection of the village installations and streets will be held June 2014. The annual inventory for the village fixed assets shall be held during the month of June 2014. The mayor shall be authorized to sign checks and disperse village funds in the event of an emergency or in the absence of the treasurer, deputy treasurer, or village clerk. Reimbursement rate for the authorized use of privacy-owned vehicles shall be determined by the IRS Federal Tax Guide, Circular E, rate for 2014, and it is .56 cents, 56 cents. That pursuant to section 281.1 of the New York State Bingo Commission rules and regulations, the bingo inspector, Matthew Lanier, is authorized to act and manage pertaining to bingo operations of the village board in the village of Highland Falls. Discrimination Harassment Committee, Barbara Murphy and Anna Sierra. That pursuant to Part 5600 of the Rules and Regulations of Game of Chance, delegating to the following named officers the responsibility and authority granted to them by law in relation to the issuance, amendments, and cancellations of license and conduct of investigation and hearings, the supervision of the operation of games and chance of the collection, utilization, and transmission of fees for a period of 1 year. That's Chief Kenneth Scott and Anna Sierra. Pursuant to Chapter 12-2 of the Code of the Village of Highland Falls, that the continuity of government in the event of an emergency disaster shall be as follows. Deputy Mayor Norman DeYoung, Michael DeSalvo, James McDonald, Dorothy Koziak. Deputy Fire Commissioners Laura Milson, Kenneth Palazzo, Eric Smith. Deputy Sanitation Commissioners Randy Mesh, Jeffrey Perry, Gus Kutsaratis. Deputy Street Commissioners Ian Milson, Thomas Pitt, Joel Baldermere, Enoch Brown. Deputy Water Commissioners William Barron, James Titolo, Neil Flickenchild, William Hurtado. Deputy Chief of Police Patrick Rose, Peter Gavin, George Fallon, and Raymond Devereaux. Deputy Clerk Celeste Evans, Francis Taylor III, Kathleen Rose. Deputy Treasurer Lillian Mims, Walter Weissman, and Margaret Lewis. Do I have a motion to accept these?
So moved.
Charlie Murphy. Second. Anthony Farina. Roll call.
Roll call, trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Farina,
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor Flynn,
Aye. Is that it? I have this page. I don't see anything on there.
First, after reviewing that the written policy for investments will be continued. First line.
Move that after, okay, I apologize. So we need to do A and B. I
Yes.
saw blank, so I wasn't sure. I need a motion to review, after review, that the previously adopted written investment policy be continued. Do I have a motion? Trustee Farina, do I have a second? Trustee Murphy? Roll call.
Trustee Murphy,
Aye.
trustee Farina,
Aye.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye. I need a motion that after review, the procurement policy previously amended as shown to be continued. Do I have a motion? Trustee Farina, Trustee Murphy? Roll call.
Trustee Murphy,
Aye.
trustee Farina,
Aye.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye.
Okay.
This time I'd like to close the reorganization. Do I have a motion? Can I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Closed? Reorganization this time is closed. This time, we will go over the budget. Well, we'll read the budget. And the public hearing, I need a motion to open the public hearing for the 2014-2015 tentative budget. Do I have a motion?
Motion to open.
Motion by trustee Murphy, second by trustee Farina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I'm gonna move down to the other mic. I'm probably gonna take one of yours and the other one.
There's one there.
Right. Yes. Nice and close. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like that. Good. Thank you very much. My back's to you, is that bad? Okay. This time we are going to present the tentative budget for the 2014-2015 for the Village of Highland Falls. Oh, nice and big. That's fantastic. Yeah, I do. They're coming out fantastic. Huh? Yep. Okay, for those that may not be able to read as well as I do, these are available online at highlandfallsny.org, as well as copies will be available at Village Hall. All right, total appropriations per fund, total $6,372,349.85. The general fund, $4,647,948.22. For the water fund, $787,664.63. For the sewer fund, $936,737. Estimated revenues, totals, $3,170,401.63. General fund, $1,446,000. Water fund, $787,664.63. Sewer fund, $936,737.00. Appropriated fund balance, $300,000. General fund, $300,000. Amount to be raised by taxes. Total is $2,901,948.22. General fund, $2,901,948.22. Total revenues per fund, total, $6,372,349.85. General fund, $4,647,948.22. And the water fund is $787,664.63. Sewer fund is $936,737. Total amount to be raised by taxes, again, $2,901,000, $1,948.20. Taxable assessed valuation, $307,827,824. Rate per thousand is 9.43. General fund. Oh yes, I need all that. All right, how we set that up. All right. Real property taxes, $2,839,662. That's actually for 2015. Okay, the requested, just the requested budget, correct? I don't do these, just this. Yeah, that's it. Real property taxes for 2014-2015, $2,901,948.22. Special property assessments, $11,000. Interest and penalty taxes, $22,000. Sales tax, $1,125,000. Utilities gross receipts tax, $40,000. Franchises, $70,000. Other general government support, 0. Safety inspection fees, 0. Vital statistic fees, 500. On-street parking meters, 28,000. Planning board fees, 0. Public safety, 0. Town share communications, 0. Interest and earnings, 5,000. Rental of real property, 0. Commissions, 0. Business and occupational licenses, 500. Games of chance, 0. Bingo licenses, 0. Other licenses, 0. Fines and forfeited bail, 30,000. Minor sales, other, 0. Sale of equipment, 0. Insurance recoveries, 0. Refund of prior year expense, 0. Gift and donations, 0. Miscellaneous, 0. Interfund revenues, 26,000. State revenue sharing, 38,000. Mortgage tax, 25,000. Other general aid, 0. Other public safety aid, 0. Consolidated highway aid, 25,000. Youth programs, 0. Other cultural recreation aid, 0. Other home and community service, 0. Crime control federal aid, 0. Emergency disaster aid, 0. Interfund transfers, 0. Total, $1,446,000. Appropriated fund balance, $300,000. Grand totals, $4,647,948.22. You with me? Nice. Moving on to expenditures. Yeah,
Bottom line,
you like that?
bottom line.
Just about totals. Board of Trustees, $22,767.88. Mayor, $20,917.66. Treasurer, $69,782.70. Budget, $100. Purchasing, $15,658.83. Assessors, 0. Clerk, $202,437.03. Attorney, $38,500. Engineer, $45,000. Elections, $2,000. Buildings, $56,000. Reserve funds, $61,000. Central garage, $73,476. Unallocated insurance, $125,000. Municipal Association dues, $2,400. Judgments and claims, $5,000. MTA tax, $7,500. Contingency, $50,000. Central communication, $242,574. Police department, $95,095. Reserve funds. Total police department reserve fund, $1,038,095. Bingo inspection, 0. Traffic control, $13,494. On-street parking, $14,632. Fire department. Fire department equipment, $32,084. Fire department contingency, $50,000. Fire department truck room rental, $25,500. Fire department contingency insurance, $31,000. Reserve funds, $183,584. Safety inspection, 0. Registrar, $500. Street administration, $23,300. Street maintenance, $355,000. $236. Street maintenance chips, $25,000. Snow removal, $92,700. Street lighting, $85,000. Sidewalks, $5,000. Parks, $32,500.
Pat?
Yes.
A couple of the items, I think you've overstated. You read reserve like for the fire company.
That's because there wasn't a total.
It was the total.
That's including the reserve.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
differently.
And also for the police department, that was the total, it's reserves.
Okay, thank you. Band concert, 0. Youth programs, 3,500. Historian, 2,580. Celebration, 0. Senior Citizen Center, $53,500. Planning, $12,260. Storm sewers, $5,000. Refuge and garbage, 0. Street cleaning, $7,000. CD administration, 0. Benefits, $1,339,195. Serial bonds, $295,379.12. Statutory installment bonds, $20,304. Bond anticipation notices, $56,075. Interfund transfers, 0. Total general fund appropriations, $4,647,948.22. Moving on to the water fund. Who else can read this last name? All right, I'm not going to do that. Moving on to the water fund. Once again, copies are available in the village hall as well as online. Just the general, or the whole thing, or just the vote? Double? Okay. Metered sales, $576,564.63. Interest and penalties, $11,000. Water rents and other governments, $200,000. Interest and earnings, $100. Total revenues, $787,664.63. Appropriated fund balance and grand total, $787,664.63. Water fund expenditures. Property taxes, $37,000. Contingency, $30,000. Water administration, $9,000. Purification and filtration, $253,493. Transmission and distribution, $64,250. Benefits, $102,000. Serial bonds, 209 bond principal, 9,200. 2012 bond principal, 32,700. 2009 bond interest, $15,652. 2012 bond interest, $26,969.63. Total serial bonds, $84,521.63. Bond anticipation notes. Water tanks principal, $183,000. Water tanks interest, $14,400. Total bond anticipation note, $194,400. Reserve funds, $10,000. Inter-fund transfers, $13,000. Total water fund appropriations, $787,664.63. Moving on to the sewer fund. Favor in the back. Okay, the revenues, metered sales, $911,387. Interest and penalties, $24,000. Water rents, other governments, $1,200. Interest and earnings, $150. Total, $936,737. Appropriated fund balance, 0. Grand total, $936,737. Sewer fund expenditures. Engineer, $1,000. Contingency, $30,000. Sanitation administration, $9,000. Sanitation sewers, $36,040. Sanitation treatment plant, $470,296. Benefits, $129,000. Serial bonds, 2002 EFC bond principal, $25,000. 2012 bond principal, $135,000. 2002 EFC bond interest, $10,000. 2012 bond interest, $16,025. Total serial bonds, $186,025. Bond anticipation notes. Sewer improvements, $60,000. Sewer improvements interest, $2,376. Sewer improvements, $80,000. Sewer improvements interest, $7,200. Total bond anticipation notes, $62,376. Reserve fund, $10,000. Interfund transfers, $13,000. Total sewer fund appropriations, $9,036,737. Had to get them sooner or later. That is your tentative budget for the 2014-2015 year. Thank God for the presentation. Okay, moving back up. Once again, for those looking for copies, they'll be available online and in the Village Hall. Questions, concerns, comments from the community on the budget? No.
I just had a quick question, and,
Sure.
and I think I understand it. I thought the treasurer was gonna be here tonight.
Unfortunately, he's doing military duty.
Okay, and you may not have the answer, but, the $500 for the I donate, I realize that's in unanticipated funds for this year?
That was already put in the account.
Right,
It's
but
not
that's
in
not
the,
part
it's
of.
not in the $53,500.
Right, so that was my question. How does that show, how does that get transferred from this year to next year?
Great question, I'll move that to the treasurer and I'll get that to you.
Okay.
It's in the account for the senior center.
Right, I just was wondering, that's.
Just, I believe like any other account, everything just moves to the following
moved
year.
over?
It's a treasurer thing. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
On the treasurer's, $69,000.
Yes.
And the contingency is $50,000. Could you explain that contingency? Is that to hire someone else?
No. The contingencies, we've actually increased several of the contingency funds because we didn't feel that there was enough money. Contingency funds are basically your backup. That's not, a contingency fund is not money you're planning on spending. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny. Contingency is if you have an emergency, if you have a problem, it's not something you're budgeting for. We've upped these because of situations that have occurred over the last several years. We want to make sure that we have more than enough in the funds available. What we've also done is we've also taken out money from individual departments. Basically what happens, I'll give you a quick breakdown, is once we approve a certain section, fire, police, whatever, we approve $80,000. Then that department head, the department then spends that $80,000 as they see fit. Even though it's spelled out here how they're going to spend it, the department head has the authority to spend it as they feel needed. What we've done is we've taken some money out of several of the funds that haven't been expended for those specific items over the last several years. put them in contingency so that we have more control over how it's being spent. To access the contingency funds, you need a board motion. So this way, we are trying to make sure that the funds are actually being spent for what they're being asked for.
Okay, then, can I just back up?
Sure.
The 69,000,
Yes,
does that include his salary and anybody else you have to hire in?
go ahead, yes.
Under the treasurer, where it says CMNC, that's contractual. That's not contingency.
No,
No, so what you're seeing there, that's contractual stuff, that is his support staff, that's any other biddings that needs to be done. And then contractual audits, that's also, so his salary for the treasurer would be the 20,000.
that's it.
Two
That's all.
The us is, the rest is other things.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Tom, how are you?
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to move to close the hearing for the tentative budget. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
All those in favor? So moved. At this time, I'd like to open up the regular meeting. And I would ask everyone to please stand. We had a few things going on today, so what we didn't do was recognize two friends that have left us, and as well as anyone that we don't know that has passed, those representing us in the military overseas, as well as anyone else, but two people that I would also like to recognize tonight in particular, Christine Graber and Charles Cooper. Thank you. Would like to welcome everyone here today. We have a couple people that have joined us. Tom Osa, who is the head of our Chamber of Commerce. And not that I want to keep pointing it out, but just so you understand, Tom's not even from here. He's actually from Rockland, and he keeps making the trip up here because he has been working very hard to try to ensure that our Chamber of Commerce gets off the ground and our business community is successful. So I have to thank him for that. Yeah, go ahead. It's okay. Yeah, you're feeling it. There you go. Little something up first. Also joining us, and who will give me a quick report later, is Brian Zwag, economic developer. He's also, again, here to help us try to improve our business community and economic development of our town. Also in the back, we have cadet and officer representation. They will be making a presentation at our next meeting. They're checking it out to see if they actually want to come back. And that is a group of seniors from West Point that have done a project throughout the year. They made a similar presentation last year at the town board meeting, a different group of seniors. This group was concentrating on relationship between West Point and Highland Falls and how to improve Highland Falls in general. And they came up with a fantastic report, and they will be presenting that. They've already presented it a few times, but they'll be presenting to the village at our next meeting in 2 weeks. And I thank they put a lot of effort, and again, you may not, a lot of people don't understand, and I don't want to take any shine off the cadets, but these are college students. And for them to make the extra effort on any night of the week, where they could be home studying, hanging out, watching TV, this is what they do, and that's what sets them apart from regular college students. And that's why I'm confident that people like this will be leading our military, because they make the extra effort and they make the commitment. And I want to thank you guys for, again, making the effort. Is there any public comment on agenda items? Reports. Police. Go for it. Come on up to the mic. We can actually push that all the way back now, Ken. If you want, push it back so it's out of your way. Either up against my thing or,
Just watch
yeah,
the
just so it's out of
line.
your way. It's fine.
I'll let someone else move it. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, trustees, ladies and gentlemen. We had a busy month in March. The dispatchers took in 1,765 incidents or calls. That includes phone, walk-ins, and radio calls. We had 27 arrests for the month, 21 misdemeanors, 5 violations, and 1 felony. The officers wrote 419 summonses, 158 were in parking and meters, 261 were in moving violations. For revenues, we had $9,435. Put that in your general fund, sir.
Thank
And that's all I have. I wanted to be brief because I know you got a busy agenda. If you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to go.
Nope, that's good to go. Well, all right, thank you. Now, something for the chief. Our water department report, raw water, normal operation of reservoir system. Water plant, daily average use, 461,000 GPDs. Daily average, 60,000, total combined, 521,000. Normal operation and maintenance, drain and clean settling tank number 2. Water distribution, routine operation maintenance, routine utility markouts, basic average day for them. They are flushing the hydrants. The water is going to be a little brown periodically. They're doing the majority of the flushing at night, around 10, 11 o'clock at night. In the morning, you may have to run the water for a little bit if it's still in the system. Okay? It's good water, very good water. We've had a couple of calls. You know, I've had brown water more than normal. There were 2 areas, one in Cragston, where there was a problem and the town had to come in and open a hydrant. Okay? Please feel free. Questions and concerns, don't yell at your neighbor and say what's going on. Call Village Hall. If it's a water issue, you can call the water department directly. Sewer issue, you can call the sewer department directly. That will get you a better answer quicker. But we will have answers at Village Hall for you as well. It's better to be informed than to spread misinformation and not get answers. And that's what we want. We want as much information going out to the public as possible. Fire.
Fire, there were 14 calls during the month of March. The chief does apologize for not being able to make tonight's meeting. He did send word that annual testing of equipment is approaching. The fire hose, ladders, and more importantly, the pumps on both engines, both trucks, will be tested, and we're looking for the results very closely on engine 429 because of its age. It is now 19 years old. These results will give us an idea of the life expectancy of the pump and when replacement of the apparatus might be required. And if you have studied the budget, you'll notice that we have set aside reserve funds specifically to build an account to replace one of our trucks. Training, members trained on new techniques of fire attack and the importance of coordinating ventilation on a fire scene and ladder operations. Now, in addition to that, the fire company has held and scheduled some very good community events. The Penny Social, that was a fun fundraiser led by the auxiliary. That was 2 weekends ago. It did raise important funds. Comedy night was held this past Saturday. Some of the people in the audience were there. It was a sold-out crowd. And importantly, to remember this coming Sunday, April 13th, 7:30 a.m. to noon, the pancake breakfast. And I have it on excellent authority that the Easter Bunny will be there. On more sober information, our community was invited to participate at West Point with a drill led by CSX. It was a tabletop enterprise in the event that there was a freight train derailment, and who knows what gases might have been released. It was an excellent drill. It was unified command between the community, West Point, and CSX. We went through soup to nuts. The EC was there. it was a super drill. Along those same lines, this past weekend, I attended training led by Fire Association of the State of New York that was held over in Putnam County on natural disasters. And I was proud of our town and village because the instructor from Albany asked everyone in the room, and many, many different departments were represented. He asked, how many of you have a comprehensive emergency management plan? And I think I was one of 2 hands that went up. Our plan is still, it's almost complete. I'm not sure if the town has accepted it yet, but we do have a plan in place. And if it's not finalized already, it's on the verge of being finalized. And I think that's it for fire.
Excellent. Before I move on, I just, this is our first meeting after the election. I would like to congratulate Charlotte Murphy and Anthony Farina for being elected again to the board at this time. The one comment I really want to make on this past election is that no matter if it's one person, 10 people being elected, as a village, we need to work on getting more people to come out and vote. We raised the Greek flag on Sunday, and they talked about how the Greeks were instrumental in giving this country democracy. It's one of the things that we picked up from the Greeks. Supposedly, that's what they tell us. But they talked about democracy and the importance of democracy, and without voting, that is your voice. So one of the things that I would like to push throughout the years is, 1, to get more people registered, but 2, to get everybody out. Because, and you're really, I mean, for those people even listening at home, the people in the audience, I'm singing to the choir, because you continue to make your effort to come to meetings, to be heard, to be involved. But it's those people that don't get involved and they're our neighbors and they're our friends. And as a democratic society, we have to make more of an effort to get them involved. It is our responsibility to say, have you voted today? Did you make an effort? Because if you didn't, I don't want to hear your mouth for the rest of the year. Bottom line, you can't talk. Because you didn't make it. If they made an effort, they made an effort. They couldn't get there, they couldn't get there. But for the people that continuously don't participate in a phenomenal system that we built, then you really shouldn't be speaking up when there are problems. Because you didn't help to make the solution better. And it was an excellent flag raising. We had a fantastic turnout, and I'm going to talk about that later. Right now, I would like to bring up Brian Zweig. I said that wrong.
No, you said pretty close. Brian Zweig.
Zweig. Brian comes to us, and I'll let him explain. For the most part, he's coming to help us. Brian.
Thank you, Mayor Flynn, and thanks to the board. I appreciate you taking the time to speak tonight. I got involved, I guess, working on some things here in the village based on a meeting that was held in December at the Thayer Hotel. It was organized, I think, with the leadership of the Thayer Hotel, Mayor Flynn. We also had representatives there from the academy. We had representatives from the business community, with the topic being, how do we take better advantage here in Highland Falls of the tremendous amount of people that come to visit West Point on an annual basis, and just the entire operation that you have here. And is there something we can do as we look to enhance the village business community to capture that significant amount of traffic and economic, potential economic impact that could be taken advantage of by the businesses here in the community? So that was the topic. We had, I think, a very productive couple-hour discussion about that, and again, that's how I kind of got involved. Now, you should have in your packets, and if you don't, I can
Yes.
certainly give you a copy, one pager that kind of summarized where we're at. Okay. So, my background is my firm is Business Opportunities Management Consulting. I work in the areas of planning, business development, and economic impact studies. And the discussion we had talked about kind of what we can do going forward here to spur some economic development and enhancements in the business district specifically. And there seemed to be a consensus that the first thing that would be helpful would be to have a way of quantifying what that opportunity is that I think we all can acknowledge is there, just anecdotally with the huge number of folks that come to the point every year and just the size of the operation there. So based on that is the proposal that I developed to do kind of a quick and dirty, very cost-effective order of magnitude estimate of what we think that impact might be. And with that information, the thought was that it would position you well to then go after funding to do different things that you might choose to do, whether it be ways to improve the streetscape, whether it might be looking at other sources of funding to spur business development, to encourage businesses to locate in the area, specific projects that you might want to consider that would attract businesses to the community. Whatever it might be, if you have an order of magnitude estimate as to how big that opportunity is, especially as large as we might expect it to be here, that would position you to go after those kinds of funding. So that's kind of the premise by which I'm here tonight, which is to, I guess, talk a little bit more about that, answer any questions that you have with the thought that this is the first step toward going after more money to help the community, in particular the business community. I would just note in closing that every year the state has a process by which communities and businesses can seek state funding. It's called the Consolidated Funding Application Process. And I believe later this week the governor will be announcing the kickoff of that for the coming year. So the timing here is very good. I don't know exactly what the deadline would be for submitting applications for that, but typically over the summer. So if we could get this initial project completed so that we had a sense of what the potential opportunity is for the business community here, I think that would well position you to go after some of those fundings. Sure.
What data sets are you going to be using to come up with the impacts?
Well, there's a model that I've used successfully. It was developed originally for the National Park Service. It looks at visitors and the people that work at a particular operation. And from that, with some basic information, uses econometric models to produce economic impact estimates in terms of both dollar impact and number of jobs supported by tourism, basically. And so, in this case, the information that we would need would be the number of visitors that come to West Point. We would want to get some information, make some estimates as far as whether those folks are coming and typically staying overnight here, or what percentage of them might be staying overnight, because if you stay in a hotel, that has a bigger impact than if you don't stay in a hotel. And the other thing we'd like to know is the number of employees and the payroll of those employees that work here at West Point. So if we had that information, we can plug it into a model, and the model will give us a ballpark estimate as to the economic impacts.
Are there alternatives to the national park model? Because we are a bit of an anomaly because of the fact that when a tourist goes on post, they tend to stay on post because of the availability of restaurants, fast food, et cetera, even now 2 hotels.
Well, the model was developed for the National Park Service, but it's also used for things like historic sites and so forth. And so it's a model I'm familiar with, and the nature of West Point as a kind of a tourist draw, people who are interested in history and so forth, seems like it's a good fit in that regard. And let me just to clarify, maybe get to the point of your question, we're not trying to see how much impact we're now getting from West Point, but rather what's the potential. So for example, if you had 1 million visitors and they all were impacting the local business community, how big an impact would that be? We know that right now we're only getting a small fraction of that. But if we can show that it's a really large impact and we know that we're not getting it, that says that there's a lot of upside to any improvements that we make. So that's kind of the case we're trying to make, is what's the potential for the impact on the business community as a result of being right here next to West Point.
Besides the potential impact,
Mhm.
will your final report also give at least a bare bones marketing, business development plan as an end product?
Well, that's not really the purpose of what we're doing here. What would be included is some opportunities that you might want to consider for funding. So, for example, with the upcoming CFA funding from New York State, there are a variety of different programs, and that's one of the advantages I think you have here. You have a Main Street program where you can get money for facade improvement, for example. You're also on the Hudson River, so there's certain programs that are tied in with that location as well. So, in other words, this is a fairly modest effort. It's designed to be cost effective. It's designed to be able to get you something quick enough so that you can then apply for funding this year. It's not really designed to be a comprehensive plan as far as how you can develop your business district here in a grand scale. That would be kind of beyond the scope of what we're talking about, but hopefully it's the first step in moving forward in that direction.
Okay, I have reservations because I think that data has been collected previously, and I'm not sure if we are moving the ball further.
In terms of the economic impact that West Point has on this business community?
Yeah, if you go back in the files, there are
Okay.
different
Well,
pieces of documentation.
That's information
It
that.
may not be as up to date,
Yeah.
but
Well, that's obviously a decision you have to make. I'm not aware of that, and, I'm not privy to that, so.
well, let me ask you a pointed question.
Sure.
Do you do marketing and business development plans for municipalities?
I do marketing and business development plans, but not so much for municipalities. That's a little bit of a different area of expertise, I would say. It might be something that I could point you in the right direction on it, if that's what the direction you want to go. And the area I do have some expertise in is actually applying for the funding through the CFA process. I've done, this is the 4th year of that, and I've had some good success in that area. So if you had an idea of what kind of funding you wanted to go after, I could potentially give you some direction on how to put that application together.
And those applications that you've done before, was the median household income set at 65,000, or were they open?
I've applied for, I think, 6 grants. I've gotten 4 funded, and they're all different. So most of them, a number of them were for private organizations, some were for public organizations. So, I could go through each of them, but they're a little bit different than I think the particular qualifications you're looking at here.
Basically, Brian's here for an intro today. We will follow up with him as a board. Mainly his coming here today was an introduction as well as an introduction to the community. One of the biggest things that I saw from Brian's initial presentation, again, wasn't the end product. It was the start of the product, and it's also by getting the numbers of the potential of what could happen here is what's going to not attract the people. We're looking to try and get the numbers so we can attract the businesses and getting the money.
Yep.
That's going to help us with the cityscape, the roads, basically our Main Street look. This is again, there's, as Charlie pointed out, there's 5 or 6 different roads we have to go down. This, I believe, is one of them to get us started, because it has specific, the specific end game is money, and we need that to get started. We've had these discussions for the last 20 years. We've had information gathered, but nothing's been moved forward because we didn't get the money to make the project happen. That's the problem. So that's why when we start, there'll be several different balls up in the air during this process. We're gonna go after the money. While that's happening, groups like the cadets, as well as Tom, as well as 2 or 3 other companies we'll bring in, are gonna bring us different information. How are we getting the people that are already coming to West Point to stop? What do we need in the village to fill the empty storefronts? Do we have storefronts that we don't need, that are just sitting there, and can we approach them and say, do you wanna move? Now that we've filled these other storefronts, we have need for your storefront, you really don't participate in a Main Street aspect. We appreciate you being here and paying rent, but can we have a better Main Street? Can we have more things available? And though we utilize West Point for a lot of our thoughts as far as how to improve our Main Street, I'll tell you right now, I'm selfish. I want to utilize West Point to improve our Main Street for us. We need a good Main Street. We want to go downtown and eat. Not over to Monroe, not over to Cornwall or New Windsor. We want more eateries on our Main Street, variety, so that if we're gonna stay, and as much as we value shopping local and helping our friends and making sure they can pay, you're going over to Monroe. Someone's going over to Applebee's tonight. Don't lie to me, okay? We need that variety here, because if we're gonna stay, the visitors are gonna stay. They're gonna see more happening on our Main Street. When you have a desolate Main Street, it gives the vision that, well, obviously none of these places can be that great. Nobody's in front of them. So there are several programs we're looking at to happen this spring to make visible improvements to the Main Street, to the business community. This, I believe, is a good start. Tonight, I brought Brian here so we can introduce him. We're gonna sit down and discuss if we can utilize this. The bottom line, this is something as far as the budget's concerned, in 2 main areas, this is one of them. Tom, Brian, the cadets, it's all gonna cost money. We have got to put up money to make money. The bottom line, we will never move ahead if we don't budget something to get started. We can no longer sit here and say, well, hopefully someone will get a grant. We have to put up some of our own money so that we can get a study done. The study will help us get 10 times the amount of money of a grant to pull in to get real projects started. But nothing is gonna come for free. For those people that know, nothing comes for free. Nothing's for free. So we have got to start investing in this community. And this is the beginning, and Brian, I want to thank you for coming and making that presentation. We're going to continue with Brian after this.
There's another question I didn't want to.
Yes.
Did you have a question? I'm sorry. I didn't
Well,
want-
the case in point is the Central Hudson funding
Right.
Main Streets. One of the vital things that we need in order to apply for those funds is some form of a marketing plan.
Right.
That definitely is desperately needed.
And that's what we're going to have to do, is put together all of these pieces so that some grants, all we're going to have to do is punch 3 buttons on the computer because we've already done the work for 3 other grants. And that's also part of the funding we're talking about, not just these projects. We have got to set money aside for grant writing. As much as everyone feels that we can do it, we already all have full-time jobs and part-time jobs, and this is a part-time job. And the time that these trustees put in is way more than part-time. And Charlie has already talked about making sure the CPC grant happens. Thank you so much, Charlie, you're good. She'll be talking about that.
Okay.
And we all will be part of the grant process, but we can't write 20 grants. I can't write 20 grants, Anthony can't, Charlie can't. A grant writer can. And a grant writer that we pay $20,000 to can get us $200,000. That's what we have to start looking at and investing in. And we can't not do that and hope that someone gives us money someday. So I'm gonna push for some of that to be included in this year's budget, just so you understand, because that's the only way I see us moving forward. Any other comments for Brian? Brian, thank you so much, I really
You're
appreciate
very
it.
welcome, and let me just, I'll leave my business card. Be happy to answer questions or learn more if I can, and appreciate you guys taking the time tonight.
All right, I also want to inform the public that the draft of the MS4 report for the period of March 2013, 2014 is on the website for review and available at Village Hall for review for 30 days. If anyone has questions or comments, please contact the village clerk. Okay, moving on. Eisenhower Leadership Art Walk. We have another presentation, and we'll be talking to Dr. Nicole Shea from the Eisenhower Leadership Group located next to the police department on Main Street. Dr. Shea wants to bring an art walk to the community. Now, when she had said that originally, I thought it was, like a 5-mile walk, and, they're gonna be painting, and who knows what's going on. Then she described it and explained it to me. What an art walk is, you've probably seen them in other communities. They want to go from Bear Mountain to Eisenhower Hall, putting pieces of art on the side of the road. Sculptures, things like that. Nice pieces, mostly of local artists. Local, not just meaning like Hudson Valley, but local, much bigger local area, because we don't have that many pieces. And they're doing this in several other communities in the Hudson Valley right now. I think as she's bringing a lot to the community, the entire group is. Very excited, but I just want to inform the public, that's something that we're looking to do also. Again, we don't want to rely entirely on West Point to bring people into this community for our businesses and for dollars. By bringing an art walk, she's not bringing it to West Point, she's bringing it to the town of Highlands. Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, piece of West Point, piece of Bear Mountain. We need to claim more for ourselves, and we need to be a destination. Obviously not a destination like West Point, that draws 1 million plus, but a destination nonetheless. So that when they go to West Point, without question, we're stopping in the village. That's where we have to get to. Because then that will bring the dollars back to our businesses, which will give us as residents more opportunities within our own village, as well as hopefully lower taxes. But I'd like to thank Dr. Nicole Shea. We'll have more information about the art walk as we progress. CDBG 2015 grant application. Would you like to say anything about that, Charlie?
Gina, our clerk, and I have volunteered to work on this. The application just came out. This is the same federal funding source that provided acquisition money for the KFC building for the senior center. This year's application, we're going to go for improvements to that facility. But I will caution that, again, we're dealing with HUD. Even if we're successful, we probably will not see those dollars for 2 years. So it's imperative that we continue to do our local fundraising and support the budget for making some of those necessary improvements for ADA accessibility and the things that will enable us to get the building open, and then we can improve it in steps. And this is a big step. We hope to get some additional funds out of it.
Excellent.
Oh, and there's a workshop coming up that we've asked to be invited to. The date hasn't been set, but both Gina and I will be going to that.
Fantastic.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I would like to know, have you looked into Home Depot and Lowe's? You got the information?
You do have the information? I know Sandy has said what the...
Yeah, you can go, yeah. Have you looked into that?
I personally have not as yet, but I'm aware that that is on the agenda.
Is there anyone in the audience for the chickens? That's you.
That's me.
Ha, got me. All right. We did ask you to come in. I don't have the chicken paperwork in front of me. Could you tell us what you want to do, my friend?
I wanted to rate
Come on right up to the mic.
I wanted to rate 4 to 6 chicken heads. I like chickens, so.
Charlie, you were saying there's a minimum?
Well, no, I'm just curious because it's my understanding that chickens have a relatively short egg laying period of time. And at the end of that time, you either have pet chickens or they have to be eaten. Have you looked into the whole farming aspect of raising chickens and how you're going to manage the flock?
Well, after they finish with their done,
So,
Have you raised them before?
I've raised before.
Ah. Will this be visible from the road?
No.
Do you have a yard?
Yes.
That my kids come over?
and do your neighbors support this?
Have you talked to them?
I've spoken to one of my neighbors before, yes. Actually, he had raised chicken before, though, so.
He has
did.
also.
And you're just looking for 4 to 6?
4 to 6, no more than that. No rooster, just no rooster.
What?
There is a minimum of 6. New York State mandates at least 6.
Huh?
Keep
That's why it's on
keep
board.
pets. That's the design. I looked into it after the last. So I'll come around.
Also, do you have enough room so it's not going to be a nuisance as far as smell, them messing up the area and whatnot?
I have enough.
Is it going to affect your neighbors'
I don't think so.
space?
I have enough space for that.
Okay, and if we tell you to eat all the chickens because we don't want you to do anymore, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, we do. And the question is, how do you word that, huh? Number of chickens?
Or if you wanna wait.
I'm gonna move on that tonight. I wanna do it for Bob gets back, because Bob doesn't like chickens, we made a problem. Okay. Last, for the mayor's report, I am going to pursue the board quickly and vigorously about getting rid of the meters. I want to put it out to the public so you know my feelings. I've weighed the monies that come in from the meters. I know the chief's going to fight me on it. The monies that come in from the meters compared to the cost of the people that have to take care of the meters, the equipment, and the whole nine. And there is a small, in my opinion, a small monetary, some money that we will lose out on. But the problem is, the purpose of the meters is to keep the traffic moving along Main Street for the businesses. I've talked to a majority of the businesses. They are having issues with people having to run out, getting tickets, in my opinion, particularly over the last 2 to 3 years, we have discouraged people coming onto Main Street because of the fact that we are so vigilant in keeping with the paying the meters. Could they have thrown a quarter in? Yes, they could have. Should they have? Yes, they should have. There's only one purpose for the meters. It's not to raise money. It is to keep the traffic moving along Main Street. My feeling is, and what I'm going to propose to the board, is that when I have a 68-year-old gentleman running into the library, afraid because he already put 5 dimes in the meter, and it's not recognizing the 5 dimes. And I have this similar story from 8 people in a 3-week period, mostly seniors. That's not something you should be worrying about. That value is more than a few $1,000s that we're going to lose. But what I won't lose is I will pick that up in speeding, seatbelts, and cell phones. Because I will not put up with that. I don't care if we're known as a town that we can't speed through, and we have to put our cell phones away and we have to do our seatbelts. That I'm okay with. But I'm not okay with every time I go into the village of Highland Falls I get 3 tickets. That discourages people from coming into our town.
You're right.
So I am going to push for this. Kenny's going to fight me. We'll go at it later. And he's got reach, and he's got weapons. But I really feel that that's one of the aspects. Two, we get rid of the meters, it's gonna look a lot better on our Main Street. That's another aspect. Three, when you talk money, it's a lot easier when you talk to the DPW about cleaning the sidewalks, particularly with snow removal. It's gonna be a lot easier with snow removal to get it off the sidewalks. So there's a lot of aspects. We are looking, at this point, we're taking the lead. We are looking to improve Main Street. I believe this is a good step. We have got to improve the look, we've got to improve the stores, and we have got to improve what's in the stores. And the look is key, because if we don't start improving it for ourselves, our guests won't want to stop. And that's it for my report.
Mayor Flynn, can I just ask you a question? If you plan on doing that, there's 28,000 in the proposed budget for that as revenue.
Yes,
So are you proposing doing that this year?
yes.
Then what's gonna happen with that
There's
28,000?
28,000 in revenue, there's also about 20,000 in cost. So, yes, I said there's going to be, there'll be a couple $1,000s we're going to lose, yes. We'll make that up in seatbelts and speeding.
Okay, but I guess I'm just confused. If that's what you're planning on doing, then why put the 28,000 in?
Because we haven't made that decision yet.
Oh.
I'm putting it to the board. It's not
So that could be
made,
a
just because I
possibility
want,
taken out.
just because I want to do it does not mean it's a done deal.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it to the board, we're gonna have discussion, it's not gonna happen tomorrow. It's gonna happen as soon as we've done our due diligence, made sure it's right move for the village, and done it. And that the board has to be in a majority to vote. I'm not gonna take any questions on this right now. You can hold those until, public discussion. For you, all right, go ahead.
I just wanted to know that if you're gonna take them out, if we decide to take them out, isn't it gonna cost you something to do that?
Actually, no.
No, at
It
all?
doesn't cost anything, because we do it ourselves. In fact, we're gonna make money because we can sell them back to the company.
Oh, all right.
And there is at least one community that's looking to get meters. We might be able to make more money by actually selling them the meters directly. So these discussions are going on. We're gonna make the best decision for the village, both financially, and that's the other thing. When we talk about consolidation, it's a similar subject. You don't see dollars and cents on every line. There's dollars and cents lines, and then there's benefits to the community. Benefits to the community, the non-aggravation of our people as well as our guests, of running out every 5 minutes, putting a nickel in the thing, of getting a ticket when they ran in for 3 minutes. They didn't realize, it was Saturday. No other communities do on Saturday. I didn't know that. Keeping that person, and then you spent another $100 in the store, and they stayed and they want to come back, and they love our. Sometimes these are things that turn people away from a community forever. And only because I've gotten the letters. I've gotten letters from people that, say that they're not coming back. They're not people that live here. They're people that were visiting. They ended up getting my initial thing would be, well, you should have put 25 cents in the meter. But is it worth, how many people didn't write me a letter that feel the same way? And we're supposed to be Hometown USA. Where do we make we will have to make decisions on where we make our money and where we don't. I don't feel this is an area, again, it's not supposed to be a money maker. It is just supposed to help with traffic and enforce the parking on Main Street. Yes.
If I may, what's to prevent the workers who are employed at the stores and the businesses on Main Street from parking their cars there all day, and there wouldn't be any room for any customers to park to go into any of the businesses or stores anyway?
Chalking. Some of those people already do that, and they put the quarters in the meter for the 8 hours they're there. And we have some problem parkers. The police know about several of them, and there's discussion. There's got to be first of all, we can chalk and still give tickets. There's still a 2-hour limit, no matter what. Yeah, do you know what, when I say that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's done for the communities that don't have meters, to keep the traffic continually moving.
So you still have to hire somebody to go
No.
around and check chalks.
No, we already have them, they're called police officers. They're the ones that give the tickets out now,
Yeah.
they will be the ones to chalk, where there's no extra expense there.
I just, the senior center's retaining wall, did you skip that?
I did. Did you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, I just didn't know who you skipped it.
I did, thank you so much. I skipped it because it's not a major issue for tonight. There is, our clerk had pointed out that the wall in front of the senior center between that and the Highland Falls Market needs work. It's in my mayor's report, just to let people know that we know that, for those people that are going by, we know that, and it's part of the project that is gonna be worked on. That was pretty much it. I actually wanted, the reason why I left it out is I was gonna get more information on the wall itself before presenting it. Just to, only because we have it, you brought it up. The DPW was at the senior center this past week to do a serious cleanup. They went around the building on the outside. They assessed any needs on the outside of the building, as well as cleaned up all the debris around the building, and I want to thank them. I didn't give a DPW report, I'm getting it from Kevin for the next meeting, but they have been accomplishing some fantastic tasks for the village over the last 5 months, 4 months, because projects that have been 2 and 3 years back, that have been waiting, taken care of. So, I want to thank the DPW for putting themselves out there. There's a couple of other projects you will see visibly on Main Street, as well as over in the Roe Park area. Okay. Discussion.
Yeah.
We have, seriously, Mr. Weissman?
On the senior citizens, on the senior
Yes.
citizens, do you have any idea when we're gonna be able to get in there?
Well, we're putting 53,000 into it right now. As soon as we pass the budget, we will utilize that money to make it accessible. As soon as it's accessible, meaning legal for you to get in there, you're in.
And you'll
We
let us
are
know?
going to do unless a lot of money shows up out of nowhere, we are going to do the repairs in stages, so that the money that Charlie and Gina are going for now can be used for some of the larger pieces, because we're gonna be asking for a couple $100,000. But we wanna do the minimum up front, so you can get in the building, and then we will work on it in stages as the money comes in.
And you're gonna use it for recreation too?
No.
Don't you love it, Pat?
I do love it. I figured we'd get that, you know what? Let's get it out. Let's put it out now instead of waiting for the discussion. Okay. For the, I'm gonna say 5th time in a public meeting. 5th time. The misinformation that is going around this community by certain individuals, I would appreciate it. Anyone who has a question or is like, what are they thinking? Call the village hall. Let us know. What are you thinking? What are you doing? We'll tell you the truth. Okay? The truth as printed in the minutes here in the meeting, as printed in the paper by Mary Jane. When I was a board member, I was the only member that said the building can only be used for the seniors. I was the only member that said the building can only be used for the seniors. It is not big enough for anything else. At 4 o'clock, when you put your knitting down, you want to see it when you come back at 10 o'clock the next day. If the Girl Scouts are in there at 7 o'clock, the knitting will not be on your table. It will be on the floor or in the garbage. This is why that building is only to be utilized for the seniors. As far as recreation, I'm not forgetting the kids. As far as recreation, we have 4 buildings, 2 vacant, plus millions of dollars that we have just put into renovations of a high school and middle school over the last 12 years. Tens of millions of dollars in renovations. Fantastic buildings. The kids are in school. They don't need a building during the day. When they're out, the school building's empty. We utilize the schools for the youth activities. That's what it's there for. That's what other communities do. Never did I say, and I see several faces in the audience that have heard me say this way more than once, and I would appreciate if you would help the other seniors that seem to forget. My predecessor in the paper is the one that stated, hey, the Girl Scouts, whoever else, other kids, they can use it also. Not me, my predecessor. I am the one that said, only the seniors. And it's written in black and white by Mary Jane, and it's in the minutes if anyone would like to check those. So, I would like to put this to bed because, again, I think it's a topic that we don't need to dwell on because the building is yours. It has your name on it, no one else's. I also just want to also point out that it is a village building. The reason it's a village building is because the village will be taking care of it, not the seniors. You are not responsible to have bake sales to pay the electric bill. That is what we need to do. We need to find the money that's going to support it. You need to, as much as we all want it open 2 years ago, please be patient with us. We are not putting you off. The second there is money and we're able to do it within the confines of everybody putting the money into the taxes, we're going to do it. And it will be open. And it will be great. But without programming, this is where maybe the misconception came in. Without programming, I believe the building will be totally underutilized because the seniors have availability already. They have Sacred Heart, they have the church where the food program is in, and they have 1 or 2 things going on during the year. A couple meetings, this and that. There's no real programming. Which is why, when you asked about recreation, let me clarify. I do want to see the entire senior program, including the running of the building, under the recreation program. If you look at successful senior center programs, they have paid people that are in charge of running them. Those paid people are part of your recreation. You have to open up your minds a little bit. I realize that recreation in this community means youth soccer and youth basketball. Recreation is so much more. And for those people that were at the last Recreation Committee meeting, Jim Willis made it very clear that he wants more programming. He wants more activities. Branch out away from athletics. We have a decent amount of youth athletics. What about senior athletics in the recreation program? Recreation is not just for the kids. It's for everybody. If you look at New Windsor, if you look down in Rockland, the senior program is the basis for most of the recreation programs in most of the towns. Recreation is not a youth-only program. So this is where you may have been confused. I'll tell you right now, if we do not have a paid person, part-time, full-time, whatever, in charge of a senior program, the senior program will not be as effective as it could be. Yeah, we'll have meetings in the building, we'll have a couple things, we'll have some 20, 30 people might go there periodically, hang out, have some cards. But why aren't we doing a scheduled yoga? Why aren't we doing scheduled exercise programs? Why aren't we bringing speakers in?
We do.
The ladies will tell you.
I appreciate that, Walt, you're beautiful. But without that, that needs to occur. That's why I'm suggesting that. And again, one guy making a suggestion. It's not a board, it's not approved by the board. It's not up to me. It's up to the recreation and the town. But that's why I would like to see a lot more of the programs under recreation. Get a real recreation. Jimmy's been holding down recreation by himself for 30 years.
So
Most other towns, even our size, have 2 to 3, not a secretary, but an actual 2 to 3 recreation people and a secretary. We have not put the time and money into our recreation program, which shows in this community. And it's not Jimmy's fault, and it's not the recreation's fault. It's that we as a community have not demanded more out of our recreation program, gone to the board and said, why aren't we getting this? We pay taxes, why aren't we paying that? The seniors themselves are not getting the money from the one senior group that we have in the community isn't getting the money it used to get from the town. As part of recreation, that would be part of the budget, and you can be part of that process. That's why Rockland, the majority of towns in Rockland, New Windsor, and several others that have serious recreation programs, and those with a senior center, again, if you look, and I talked to the one there's one in Pennsylvania also that I talked to, the ones that are most successful are either have a full-time hired person that just works with them, or majority of them, the majority, are under the recreation program. So, with that, I'm going to ask that we hold off any topics for comments during public comment, because I want to try and get through the agenda. And I thank you for your time. Moving on to discussion, correspondence with Fred Brennan and Kathy Keene. I'm just going to talk about Fred. You have the letter in front of you. This is a perfect example of the law that we've just passed several months ago to deal with yards and whatnot of the people that are delinquent with their taking care of their lawn. There's a tree that's fell onto his property, and it needs to be taken care of. So John has already told me that the notice went out, and so they have less than 10 days now to respond, or we're going in, we're taking it out ourselves, and putting it against the taxes. This is for those that don't know, this is the law that we passed several months ago, similar to the snow law, where those people that are letting their grass grow 2 or 3 feet high, not taking care of it all summer, we're not going to put up with it anymore. And again, I'm not trying to be that guy, but taxpayers that take care of the lawn every day are meticulous, make it look beautiful for them and their neighbors. It's not fair. It's not fair. And if you think that by getting fined and us coming in there and taking care of ourselves is wrong, come to Village Hall. I'll walk over your property personally and ask you why you let that happen. Okay? So, if there's more people out there that have issues, Fred went ahead and wrote us a letter, said he's got an issue. Okay? Again, don't keep it to yourself. You're not doing anyone any good. If you have an issue with a property, you can give it to us anonymously. You don't have to, it needs to go to the building inspector. Okay? And just so we understand, it is the town building inspector. We in the village, part of the town, we pay his salary. So please don't think that because it's not called the Village of Highland Falls building inspector, we don't have the power to go in there and ask, this needs to be done. We do. Every aspect of the town you pay for as a village taxpayer. For the A line. I'm sure someone will get me on that. There's 2 lines, A line and B line. A line is the full town, B line is Fort Montgomery. Okay, the B line would be the police. Town police are paid for on the B line, because they just deal with Fort Montgomery. Okay, they help us out, we help them out. But as far as the building inspector, it's a joint building inspector. Same thing with recreation. Recreation is a town recreation program. We have as much right to everything in the town recreation program being in Highland Falls. Highland Falls is part of the town. So I put that in there just to let you know that we're going to move on those. And 8 South Street. Yes, I know, I'm skipping. 8 South Street, we need to set a hearing date. We'll do that in new business. You have that letter in front of you, check that out. The hearing date will set for the next meeting. No, that's Kathy. That's just for your information. Okay? We'll do that in new business, set a hearing date. And then on 109 Center, we have several letters on 109 Center. We are not going to move on that tonight. Bob Mellon's not here. We are going to move on that on Thursday. I was asked for a week extension is this Wednesday. We are meeting on Thursday for a budget meeting, and we will be moving on it on Thursday. What my proposal will be is to hire, or to pick the contractor that won the bid. If there is movement by the bank, in writing, that they will sell the property between now and when the contractor is, as soon as he's ready to go, between now and then, which will be about a week, 2 weeks max, I will propose to the board to stop the project. I would like to keep the house on the rolls. Dan Olivia has pointed out that he wants to put it back, to restore it to a beautiful house. That's what we want. Unfortunately, I don't think the bank is going to make the move, which is why we are going to move forward on Thursday. I don't want to do it without Bob. I would like him to be involved in the vote. Mr. Brown, if he can make it. But I am hopeful. There's been a lot of movement on the property. Unfortunately, none of the movement's been on the bank's part. A lot of effort on Dan Olivia. I have to praise him, and he's put a lot of effort and work into it. I want to hold off. I don't know if the bank will ever come around. His lawyers, the owner's lawyers, everybody's made strides. The only one that can actually make the decision is the bank, and they've done nothing so far. So we are going to move forward. If something comes in writing, if the sale is imminent by the bank, I will push the board to stop the process and hopefully have the sale go through and redo the house. 109 Center. Take discussion on that. If there's discussion during the, if we want discussion then as well. All right, new business. I need to set a hearing date for the 8 South Street issue. Do I have a motion to set the hearing for our next board meeting? Do I have a motion?
I'll move,
April 21st. Motion by Charlie Murphy, second by Anthony. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What was the other thing we had to move on before I do the rest of these? Chickens. Thank you. You're all over it. I need a motion to approve the raising of 6 chickens. 6. On Mountain Avenue. Cousins. Cousins. All right, we're gonna move those to Cousins.
Mr. Anton, right?
Mr. Anton.
Anton.
I have a motion by Anthony Farina, second by Charlie Murphy. All those in favor?
I'll second it for discussion. I do want the neighbors noticed that there will be 6 chickens becoming their new neighbors, just to ensure that they have adequate notice. And if there are no objections by the neighbors, I will support it.
Wow. Okay. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to go ahead and move to vote. And what you're going to do for me, Mr. Anton, is bring back documentation from your neighbors, signed, saying, hey, we like chickens. Is that cool? Are you cool with that?
Fresh eggs.
Are you happy with it?
I'm fine with that. One of my neighbors, they're in North Carolina, I think. but-
Then they can't do it, can they? So get the ones that are not in North Carolina. And just bring us that documentation and we'll seal that up this week. Okay? Is that good for you, Charlie? Okay, all those in favor of raising 6 chickens on Cousins Avenue, with respect to the favorable neighbor answer?
Aye.
Opposed? Chickens. Okay,
By next meeting, you want that?
yes. Well, if you can get it to us by Thursday, we meet on Thursday night.
Okay.
So that would be helpful, okay?
Okay.
Great. All right. I need to approve the minutes as written, regular meeting March 17, 2014, special meeting March 17, 2014, budget workshop, special meeting March 20th, 2014. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? Second?
Second.
All those in favor? What you want to actually say? Yeah, you did. Opposed? So moved. I need a motion to approve the 6th Amendment to the water supply agreement. You have that paperwork in front of you. Real quick, there was a question, very simple. We're just extending the loan 10 years to make it easier for the district to pay. Why didn't you sign it the day we brought it up? Well, I have to, and the board has to be responsible to the village. So when the town brings us something, just so you understand, though I am very intelligent, right?
Yes, sir.
Not a lawyer, not an engineer, not an accountant. The lawyer needs to look over the paperwork to make sure you are covered. And there's nothing in there that changes. Something changed. It wasn't just sign it, it's okay. They weren't trying to hide anything, but when we lengthen the loan 10 years, that means we lengthen the fact that we are giving them water for 10 more years. So instead of an agreement for 20 years to give water, we now are giving them an agreement for 30 years to give water. So it did change. And this is why it goes to the lawyer. This is what's going to go to the board now. Me personally, I have no problem with that. I want to sell everybody our water, as long as we have it. And as long as we have enough for our village, I want to sell everything else we have to bring down our taxes and help the village be successful. So that's where we are. Do I have a motion to, if you don't have any questions, do I have a motion to accept the Sixth Amendment to the water supply agreement?
It's to have you sign it.
To have you sign the agreement.
Motion to allow the mayor to sign the agreement that stipulates the intention of the amendment is to supply water for 30 years. And to reference state village law that states that the village shall not sell or permit the use of village water outside of the village if such outside use would cause the supply to the village or its inhabitants to be insufficient. With that, it meets all.
Yes, and that actually is already in our, that's part of the agreement, but thank you for reading. That's part of the agreement already. That if the village has a shortage, anyone outside the village is cut off. We take care of our own first. It's just the way it is. They know that. They knew that going into the agreement. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm very happy to sign the agreement. I think it's a good move by the town. I think they did a great job looking out for the district, trying to lengthen out the payments to make it a little easier on them. I applaud the town board for doing that. I need a motion for request for medical leave of absence. You have the paperwork in front of you. Are there any questions? Can I have a motion to accept the request?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. I have a fund transfer. I need a motion to transfer funds from the general contingency fund to the general workers' comp fund to cover all tail claims through the end of the fiscal year. Motion by Anthony, seconded by Charlie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we need to go out for bid on the grass for services needed for the fiscal year 2014-2015. Can I get a motion to go out for bid for those services?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Murphy, seconded by trustee Farina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. I need a motion to approve me signing the DMV certification for license plates program. If you're not aware of what it is, Chief Scott brought it to me, Gina brought it to me today. It is for special plates for vehicles owned by the village to be identified that in case of an emergency, these people know what they're doing. It also will give us New York State Department of Motor Vehicle and New York Department of Homeland Security Emergency Services pleased to announce new emergency management license plate. The plate will display your name of the village and the emergency management designation. The emergency management plate will ensure that your village has a critical role in emergency response and management, have access to incident locations, as well as reserve assets, such as emergency fuel supply. It has determined that our village is initially eligible. We just need to vote that I can sign this so we can get the plates. No cost to the village.
How many plates though?
2 plates. We're looking at the police chief and the fire chief. They have to be village-owned vehicles. Those are the most obvious 2 vehicles that we own. Should be designated that way. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I I need a motion to approve the bill and claims in the amount of $138,201.29. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Reminders, there will be a special board meeting on Thursday, April 10th, 2014. It's a budget workshop at 7. Special board meeting on Monday, April 14th, 2014. There's a budget workshop at 7 o'clock again. And a regular board meeting on Monday, April 21st, 2014, and that is at 7 o'clock. Before we go into public comment, because a lot of times I think when you do that, I lose some people. I just want to remind people that the clerks have done a phenomenal job with our website. You need to look at it and use it. There's a lot of information on there. If you have questions, we're going to be using our website a lot more to answer and ask questions. So that for those that can, you can go right on and gives you the information you're looking for. Okay, and that's highlandfallsny.org. Pretty easy, highlandfallsny.org. All right, with that, public comment. Yes.
I have just one question. All the decisions that have been made concerning the Senior Citizen Center have been made by you and the board. No one has approached or asked any of the senior citizens to be included in these decisions.
That's not true, actually. Fran Galou took the initiative and asked to be in charge to help the senior center flourish. And at the last 3 meetings, I've sat here and said, anybody who wants to be involved in making this happen, come to the village, let us know, not for us to work with Fran Galou, who has said she will do it. Bob, Charlie, and Anthony have taken a lot of time out to do that, to go to the senior center, what needs to be done. The initial stuff needs to be done by us. The financial, the engineering, that needs to be done by us. To open it up, that's not a decision where we're going to sit around with 20 people and go, do you guys want to make the bathroom handicap accessible? We're trying to deal with what we have to do to open it up. We're not dealing with programming yet, you're right. We're going to have a much bigger circle on that. But I have stated it for the people at home, for the paper, and here in the meetings, in the minutes, that anybody who wants to be involved, please come to the village. And again, it's one of those things I don't know if you're hearing. Anyone who wants to be involved, please come to the village, let us know. I want to be involved in making the senior center better. When you do that, we're going to put you in touch with Fran Galou. She is working the committee that's going to do that. Next question.
That would have been nice to have let the members of the club know. As far as I'm concerned, nobody has asked us what we want or what we need, or asked our advice or opinions on anything.
You've had members here at every meeting.
No, we don't.
Mrs. Cronin's been here almost every meeting.
Joan, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
About the only-
she's a member.
Yes.
So she didn't tell you guys what was going on?
It's on.
Do you think she's gonna repeat everything that happens at the meeting?
Only pertaining to senior citizen center, I would hope. We're not trying to not include you, and I will be, I'll tell you what.
That's what I'm asking you to do. Include us in the plans, in
And-
your decisions.
So you don't watch the you don't watch the meetings then?
No. I
Or
don't
read the paper.
readings. Oh, I read the paper.
It's in the
I read
paper.
every word of the paper.
We've put it out there to please do that.
You
So
can't
if-
see it on TV.
No.
We read
It's
the
below.
But Joan, you're here,
Read the paper.
and I would
haven't
hope
been.
that you would go back to the seniors, the senior club.
You-
Now, that's another misconception.
No.
And hold
Don't.
on, Joan, I'm not talking about you. Another misconception. We have a senior club that has about 40 members, 50, 80, depending on who shows. We have a lot more seniors in the community. This senior center is for all the seniors,
Absolutely.
all seniors. It's not just for 1 or 2 clubs.
The town of
It
Highland.
obviously is going to be utilized much more by the Highlanders because you're organized, you've been putting out a lot of events already, and we hope that you will be the driving force of the senior center. We're hoping that happens. Which I apologize because I'm wrong. I should have not assumed that when you had several members here at the meetings, that they would have taken that information back and been proactive for the community and said, no, the mayor said anybody who wants to get involved can. And I don't expect them to repeat everything that was at the meeting, but when I only have 3 statements about getting involved in the seniors, I think you might remember those. And I understand what you're saying, Ms. Koziak, but again, the street goes both ways. Village Hall, haven't closed it down. Been open every day. My phone line, have not received a call. So, if you want something, come to me. I'm spending 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day on a part-time event. And I'm not crying. I came out, I wanted to be elected. But I am not showing up. Whether it's meetings outside, whether it's meetings inside the village, I'm there. The email's wide open. There's messages. I got messages on the door. I'm returning calls. I want to be there for you. I am not trying to lock anybody out. I know for a fact that there are some people that continue to say the mayor's only doing things for the kids. He is not trying to help the seniors, trying to take the senior center away. The only thing you're doing by that is hurting yourself. You need to get on board. The seniors have a senior center now. It is yours. If you want to do something with it, you're more than welcome. Answer me this. Is this an invitation? Come to the next senior meeting so I can give you a report about what's going on. Is that an invitation, Ms. Koziak?
You will approach our president and ask for his permission to.
Can I ask your vice president for permission? Thank you very much, Mrs. Weissman.
Yes.
I will be there.
Now, there's one other thing I'd like to mention to you about,
Yes.
contacting you. And you said, come to the village when we want straight dope, okay? All right. I emailed the same email to you and to Charlie Murphy. I got an answer from Charlie Murphy. I never heard from you.
When did you email me, Ms. Koziak?
How long ago? It was quite a long while ago. It was maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
If I didn't get your email,
heard
Ms.
from you.
Koziak, if I didn't get your email, I'm sorry.
All right.
I don't not answer emails. If I didn't get it, if I didn't see it, I apologize. But I have to ask, and this is a request. I get about 50 to 100 emails a day. I get about 5 to 15 messages minimum a day. I'm trying to get back to everybody, trying to get them the information needed. If for some reason I get one message or one email and I don't get back to you, call me. No, it's not strange. It's not, and you're probably not the only one I may not have gotten back to. Whether I didn't get it was sent to the wrong email, or I didn't get it, or maybe I missed it. Okay? Ms. Koziak, you can't say I got it and I just ignored it. But I appreciate your thought.
Okay.
Please don't just dismiss it. If you send me an email and you don't get a response, then call me. Leave a message. And if you don't get that, you know what? I'm asking. Call me again. I won't be annoyed. I won't be bothered. My job is to serve you. And I want to do that. That's why I ran for this position. Not to serve this group or this group. If your president left me a message, I would return it. He is a person of the village. Okay? So it doesn't matter who it is. I'm here representing all of the villagers. Okay? So I would appreciate it if you wouldn't be antagonistic. Join me. And did Charlie answer your question?
This is what we're trying to do. We would like to join you in making these decisions about the senior center.
Fantastic.
That's exactly
Did
what
Charlie
I want
answer
to
the
do.
question you had in the email?
Yes, she certainly did.
There we go.
She did.
Yes, and that's why she's one of the 5 members of the board.
We don't want to hear
I trust Charlie, I trust Anthony to answer questions, Bob, or Mr. Brown. You don't need my approval on everything. The board members are as representative of this village. We're a 5-member board, not a 1-member. If Charlie answers your question, the board has answered it. If Anthony does it, the board has answered it. You do not need my approval to have Charlie answer a question. Charlie, go ahead.
I did want to say for the general public, since we last met, Jim Titolo did an inspection and issued a tremendous report with some broad estimates on a lot of different things. That was incredibly generous of him to do as a public service. And it gives us something to base some ideas of what things may cost.
One thing that, did he suggest carpeting for the,
It's literally a three-page spreadsheet. I don't
this is
remember.
one
We're
thing.
looking
I
at
would
several,
really
we're
like
looking at
to-
several different things to the floor.
For the floor.
Right.
Carpeting would be the biggest, most impractical thing in the world on that floor. I wouldn't care, don't know the condition of the tiles, if some of them have to be replaced, if they're not exactly the same color, I don't think it makes a darn bit of difference. But carpeting is impractical. We have food at every one of those, our meetings, or gatherings, and people spill stuff. And if it's on a tile floor, you can move it up. If it's on a carpet, you're gonna have to clean that carpet 3 times a year. I think carpeting is very impractical, and if
Well, I
that's,
think you're going to the application that was made by
somebody,
Fran Galou on behalf of the seniors to do so.
oh, yeah, well, I think.
I'm sure there, I can't guarantee it, but I'm sure there's flexibility about the floor and substance.
There is flexibility, and actually, that, you're not the first person, you're about the 8th person that has mentioned the carpet issue. Again, I'm gonna say this, that kind of decision is not, that's not gonna be done by us. That is something that, again, there are, I'm looking, 8 representatives from the Highlanders here tonight. Anyone who wants to get involved in this kind of discussion. Walt is too young to be one of these people, I'm not counting. Anyone who wants to be part of the discussion, talk about the carpeting, talk about the color of the walls. We have to have walls. We have to have a ceiling, we have to have a floor, okay?
And Assemblyman Skoufis has
Yes,
funding for
okay,
this.
yeah. We have to have these things. The color, what the floor is, there are certain things that have to happen with the floor, okay? But, again, Fran Galou has taken the time, she has put herself in front of it. You do not have her contact information. Village, 446-3400. That's the village number. We'll get you Fran's information, because she has volunteered to be in charge of it. She will take that report, and she will meet with us and make sure that any seniors, any non-seniors, if there are people that are a couple years off and hope maybe, hey, by the time I get there, it might be open. I want blue